of the Calaveras County Association of Realtors, I'd like to welcome you all to Candidates Night 2014. Yeah, okay. As Miles said, I'm Melinda Hoff. I am the president for the association for 2014, and I'm excited to have everyone here tonight, the candidates, fellow realtors, and guests. The purpose of this evening is for you, the constituents of Calaveras County, to meet the candidates and to learn about them and hopefully leave here feeling better informed. All of the candidates will have 2 minutes to introduce themselves and make a statement as to their candidacy. The supervisor candidates will answer 3 questions that were prepared by our local government relations committee and have 3 minutes per question to answer. We will then move on to questions that were submitted here tonight. We'll get to as many of them as time will allow. I was really pleased as the association president when our local government relations committee came forward and said that they would like to host a candidates night. I thought, perfect, because we are the Realtor Party. Yeah, you're probably thinking right now, what's the Realtor Party? Well, yeah, you know, realtors that like to party, well, yeah, probably. But other than that, there really is a Realtor Party. The Realtor Party campaign was started several years ago through the National Association of Realtors to promote realtors working together to educate voters about issues that affect property owners, to support policies and regulations that promote home ownership and the real estate industry. The Realtor Party is forging a new path with bipartisan, issue-oriented approach to politics. We appreciate the efforts of all the candidates that are here with us tonight, and I would like to thank the Local Government Relations Committee, Debbie Bridges-Shaw, Miles Gibbons, Al Segala, Valerie Beadle, Lloyd Griffin, Nancy Whittle, and our wonderful staff, Valerie Moon and Lacey Willis. Without Valerie and Lacey, this event could not have happened. Thank you for giving your time to be here tonight, and without any further ado, we will get on with the candidates and get me off the stage. First off, we are going to have Grant Barrett. Grant,
well, I want to thank the Association of Realtors for having all the candidates and providing this forum. My name is Grant Barrett, and I'm running for the office of Calaveras County Superior Court Judge, Department 1. I'm the only candidate for this office with experience on the bench in Calaveras County. I've been on the bench in Calaveras County for over 12 years. At last count, I presided over in excess of 25,000 court hearings, settlement conferences, and trial. In 2013, I was named Judicial Officer of the Year. This is a statewide award for judicial excellence that I share with my fellow court staff. Over the past decade, our court has innovated and created several new programs that have increased the community's access to the court and provided procedural due process for all under the law. Several of these programs have been adopted by other courts, both large and small, and our practices have been adopted by the California Rules of Court as best practices statewide. So you have a court in Calaveras County that you can be proud of. However, our court is currently facing several historic budget and core operational issues. The first is the state budget that's been handed down to the courts. It's a crushing deficit that's handed to us, and there is no real relief in sight. We're having to do more with less. The second is we're transitioning to a new court facility. This is the first change in our core operations in over 50 years. This has been a substantial disruption to our court processes, and our staff has worked diligently to transition us through. And finally, the voters of Calaveras County will be electing both new Superior Court judge positions. This is the first change in judicial officers in 20 years. These are historic challenges, and I pledge to you that I have the knowledge, training, and experience to lead our court through this period of transition and for decades to come. I request your support and your vote for Grant Barrett for Department 1 on June 3rd. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Barrett. We appreciate it. Next will be Dana File. Come on up, Dana.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to the Calaveras County Association of Realtors for the invitation to speak to you tonight. My name is Dana File. I am also running for Superior Court Judge, Department 1. I have been working as an attorney in Calaveras County for my entire legal career, about 14 and a half years. 12 and a half of those years have been at the Calaveras County District Attorney's Office, where I've prosecuted pretty much every crime from infractions to multiple homicide. During that period of time, I have developed very good analytical and legal skills. I'm an effective researcher and interpreter of the law. I'm well versed in the law, the evidence code, search and seizure law. Calaveras County is in a unique situation because, as Mr. Barrett said, it's been approximately 20 years since there have been options for judges in Calaveras County. Our county has about 75% of its caseload is criminal in nature. Department 1 handles the majority of the crimes that occur in our county, and the overflow has to go to another department because we have so much of it, unfortunately. And that is the Department 2 calendar. My experience in criminal law is what I bring to the table for Department 1. We have the last 3 of our judges, Judges Martin, Judge Mawini, and Judge Ornarola, have all come directly from the District Attorney's Office. There's a reason why prosecutors make good criminal law judges. That is because we know the law. I'm in court every day prosecuting cases, dealing with rehabilitation efforts from probation, working with defendants to try to improve themselves. That's what I bring to the table to Department 1. Personally, I grew up in Sonora. I still live there. My children are 14 and 16. They're going to high school as soon as they are completed. My husband and I have agreed, since I've been commuting for about 15 years over here, we get to switch and I get to live here and not commute, and he'll have to commute over to Sonora. So I'm looking forward to the day that happens. Thank you very much. On June 3rd, I respectfully ask for your vote.
Thank you very much. Okay, Tim Healy. Come on up.
Thank you, Melinda. I appreciate the opportunity to come before the Calaveras County Realtors Association and have an opportunity to talk with everyone. My name is Tim Healy.
And yellow is 30 seconds.
Oh, yes.
Yellow is 30 seconds.
My name is Tim Healy, and I'm running for Superior Court Judge, Department 2. I am the only candidate for Department 2 who has dedicated his professional career to public safety, victims' rights, and seeking justice for all. I've lived in Calaveras County for approximately 11 years. My wife Rachel has been here for about 23 years. We're raising our 2 children here. So quite frankly, we have a very vested interest in the success of Calaveras County. As a criminal prosecutor, I've had a career very similar to Dana Files in that I've been there for about 13 years in San Joaquin County. I have handled cases, just about every case you can imagine, from homicide to gang cases to identity theft. And currently I'm handling child abduction cases, which requires me not only to work with criminal law, but also with family law and civil law, and quite frankly, international law. Our team goes to places like South Africa. We go to places all over the United States, all over the world, to recover children when their parents have abducted them. So it's a very interesting position within the context of the District Attorney's Office. There is something that I wanted to kind of add to what Ms. Files said, and that was why prosecutors are, quite frankly, very unique and very well suited to become judges. And quite frankly, that's because as a judge, you want somebody who's going to be impartial. You want somebody who's going to follow the law, someone who's going to not simply seek justice, but as a judge on the bench, you want them to ensure justice and fairness for both sides. Quite frankly, that's what a prosecutor does every day. Our ethical duties are very different than private attorneys. Private attorneys' job is to do the best they can for their client, and that's their job. That's for defense attorneys, that's for civil private attorneys, that's their one role. As a prosecutor, your role is to seek the truth and to seek justice. It's not simply to get as many convictions as you can. So quite frankly, as a prosecutor, as Ms. Files said, there's a lot of things that are going on, and in the sense that we are well suited because we're in court all the time, in court all day. Thank you very much for your time, for the opportunity to speak. And on June 3rd, I sure could use your help let me bring my experience home. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I also would like to thank the association for allowing us to introduce ourselves to you and tell you a little bit about ourselves. My name is Hugh Swift. I'm a resident of Angels Camp. I've lived here with my children since 1999. I moved here from San Diego, where I had practiced law for 12 years. I practiced civil litigation, handled a wide variety of cases, real estate, personal injury, defense, construction defect, and during that period of time, I tried cases, I conducted arbitrations, I represented clients in a variety of different proceedings and matters. In 1999, I moved to Angels Camp, took a job with the court in Amador County as a research attorney, where I reviewed hundreds, if not thousands, of cases on behalf of the judges there. In 2004, I was promoted to court executive officer, where I oversaw the administrative functions of the court. And in 2006, I was appointed Superior Court Commissioner. It was a position I held at the same time I was a court executive officer, and as commissioner, I heard child support cases, small claims cases, and various civil and family law matters. I probably presided over in excess of 2,000 or 3,000 separate hearings and court trials and motions. What I bring, I believe, to the table is an approach where I focus on fairness and impartiality, and what that means to me is listening to the parties, giving them an opportunity to present their evidence, and making a decision that is limited to just the facts that are presented, the law, and making sure that they understand the process and the decision that I make. And that's what I intend to do as your judge, and I ask for your support on June 3rd. Thank you.
Thank you so much. John Tripolo, if I don't mess it up again.
No, you didn't mess it up. Good evening, everybody. My name is John Tripolo. I'm an attorney, and I've been in private practice for 40 years. What I'm bringing to the table, as opposed to some of my other associates, is that 40 years of experience. 40 years of experience can seem, well, people just say it, well, what does that mean? You're a little bit older? Yes, I'm a little bit older. But I'm not running a race. I'm not going out for a football team. I'm trying to be your next judge. And I think that when people think about a judge, they think about somebody that's had some life experience. They think about somebody that has experience in regards to the litigation, somebody that's been in trial numerous times, somebody that's represented numerous clients with all sorts of different problems. I bring that to the table. I not only have that 40 years of experience in the law, I'm a little bit older and have quite a bit of life experience as well. What this race means to me is this. There are 2 different judges' positions that are open, and you're going to vote for them. The first is Department 1, and as you've heard, Department 1 does primarily criminal matters. Department 2, which you haven't heard, does primarily civil matters. Department 2 is where you go when you're going through a divorce, or when you're suing your neighbor's suing you, or you have problems with your business. That's Department 2. Most of my 40 years has been in civil law, which means family, it means civil litigation, it means personal injury. That is what I'm bringing to this race that nobody else has. 40 years of experience in civil litigation. Somebody who knows the law and is prepared to do the best job possible on the bench. I would hope that on June 3rd that you will remember that, and if you remember anything, it's the guy that's a little bit older and has a little bit more experience. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, and good evening, everyone. Thank you all for coming tonight. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you for just a couple of minutes. My name is Leslie Davis. I am your county assessor and have been for a little bit over 5 years now. The county assessor is charged with fair and equitable assessment of all taxable property in the county. And in addition to that, my goal has been to provide top-notch public service for each of you as you come to our office to talk to my staff. I was delighted tonight to hear a compliment. One of my staff members who helped someone here to just this afternoon. Even though I'm running unopposed, I want you to know that I value your support, and I would really appreciate your vote on June 3rd.
Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Rebecca Callan. I'm the County Auditor Controller. I've been in office, this is on my 4th year this year. What the Auditor Controller's office does is I am really your chief accounting officer for the county. I am extremely integral in the budget process. In every bill that we pay goes through my office. Some would call myself and my office somewhat the watchdogs of the taxpayer money that goes through our treasury. I am charged with working with all departments, all special districts, school districts, hospital districts. We also apportion all of the taxes that go through our treasurer tax collector's office that are collected. And we are open for all the public records requests that come through. A lot of the public wants to know how we're spending your money. And so generally you're coming to my office asking just those questions, and I'm always available to help you in that respect. So I also am running unopposed. We kind of jokingly wonder why that is. It's either because you'd be out of your mind to have this job, or or I'm just doing such a phenomenal job that that you are again respecting my my works. So I again would appreciate your vote on June 3rd, and I look forward to another 4 years. Thank you.
Rebecca Turner.
Hi, my name is Rebecca Turner. I'm a candidate for Calaveras County Clerk Recorder. I'm the only candidate for the County Clerk Recorder, so I wanted to thank the Realtors Association for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to introduce myself to you. I am currently the county's elections coordinator. I've been in that position for the last 6 years. I've been with the county for a total of 10 years. The County Clerk Recorder is the recorder. We record your property taxes, your land transfers, and your vitals such as your birth certificates and your death certificates, marriage licenses. We, in the office, we're also responsible as the Commissioner of Marriages for the county. And I don't have a whole lot to tell you. I don't know how I ended up unopposed my first time running, so I'm very excited about that. And I look forward to serving the community in a stronger capacity. So, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Barbara Uke, and I am the Calaveras County District Attorney. I'd first like to thank the Association of Realtors for inviting me to speak with you tonight. And I'd like to thank them for their work in supporting the health of the county as a whole, for the economic health. I have been the district attorney since 2010 when I was appointed by the board after the sudden passing of my predecessor, and then I was elected in 2012. So many people will say, Barbara, has it been 4 years so soon? And I say, no, it's only been 2. But unfortunately this time I am unopposed, and I would like to still ask for your support and thank you for your continued support. As you've heard a couple of the other candidates mention, about 75% of the cases in Calaveras County are criminal, and so I guess you could blame me for that. And not to steal the thunder of the 2 sheriff candidates, but I did look ahead to the prepared questions that would be of interest to the this organization. And the DA's office, being responsible for all the criminal prosecutions in the county, really doesn't have anything to do with the rent fees or building permits, but with respect to question 2, what can we do to make the county more attractive to business? And that is keeping crime down. I think that would help attract businesses. I think that is probably something businesses consider. Am I going to get broken into? Is law enforcement going to respond? Is there going to be a response to crime? So that is something that I am very committed to, trying to keep our community safe. And again, I hope I didn't steal the sheriff candidate's thunder on that question. That's all I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for being here with us tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Patrick Garahan.
Good evening. Thank you, Association, and thank everybody here for taking time out of your evening to come hear us speak. I'm Pat Garahan. I'm a candidate for Calaveras County Sheriff. Despite what you may have heard, I'm not a newcomer to the county. I've lived in Valley Springs for the past 22 years. My wife and I raised our children there, sent them through all grades of school in the county here, so I'm not new to the county. I'm a Marine Corps veteran. I've got over 30 years experience in law enforcement. The bulk of my career was spent in the Oakland Police Department. I worked my way up through the ranks. I've dealt with essentially every kind of crime imaginable. I've been involved in some level or another as a patrol officer, as a supervisor, and as a command officer. After I retired from the police department, I had an opportunity to be a police advisor through the Department of Defense for the Marine Corps. I was embedded with 2 separate Marine Corps infantry battalions. I did 2 combat deployments to Afghanistan, Helmand Province, as a police advisor for the Marine Corps. I've got a bachelor's degree in criminal justice and a master's degree in criminology. So I also have a lot of leadership background. I have a good police foundation, and I've got an educational foundation there. Now, the sheriff, many people think it involves public safety, which certainly it does, locking up criminals, but it also has this dual role of the sheriff is also trusted with safeguarding your individual rights and liberties against unnecessary or excessive government overreach. So I'm well aware of that 2-part thing there. I'm looking at proactive crime prevention, reducing response times, maintaining staffing, and opening lines of communication with the public. Neighborhood watch things, actual, real community policing that'll be functional. I ask for your vote on June 3rd. You won't be disappointed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Gary Kuntz. Sheriff Kuntz.
Good evening. Thanks everybody for coming tonight, and also thanks to your organization for putting this on. I am presently the sheriff. I started this department in 1985. I lived in the county for 46 years. I did my whole career here at the sheriff's office. Started in 1985, was a reserve and actual hire correctional officer. And then in 1986, I became a deputy. 2 years later, I became a homicide investigator, and later on, a sergeant. And I ran patrol. I ran administrative sergeant position, and also back in investigations again. When I became, later on became a lieutenant, and there I worked 3.5 years as a jail commander. It was a really kind of a rewarding experience, something way different from regular law enforcement. I became sheriff. I ran for sheriff because I didn't feel that the sheriff department was serving the community like it should have. So I ran. I won. Since I've been sheriff, I put resident deputies back in place. I want to put one more in Murphy's. I have reinstituted community policing. It's working very, very well. The response times are down. Crime is down. Not quite to where I like to see it, but it's down. And just built a new jail, a new sheriff's office. Had quite a bit going on here the last 3.5 years. And I also put 8 more officers back on the street. So anyways, again, thanks for having me, and I'd like to have your vote again on June 3rd. Thank you very much.
Good evening, and thank you for coming, and thank you for the invite. Appreciate it. I'm Barbara Sullivan, your treasurer tax collector. I've been in office now for 3 years. Since 2010 I was elected. Prior to that I was with the county government for 6 years in the auditor's office and the treasurer's office. My background is credit collections when I worked for Franzi Winery, and then coming forward with banking. I have a lot of banking in my background. Currently in the Treasury, we have $120 million that I have to keep track of and keep the investment safe and secure. That's first in priority. Second is collecting taxes, which everybody knows, my main problem. And also just customer service. So with anything, we like to at least be there for the taxpayer. If they have any questions, we'll be happy to help. And I want to thank you, and again, if you would vote for me, because I'm running unopposed again, but if you would, that would be awesome. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, it's going to be Marita Calloway. Come on in.
I know this reminds me of something.
I don't know how they got to run unopposed. No offense, gentlemen. I've been the county supervisor for the Corridor 4 for 20 years, and yes, I would like another term. And the reasons are that county government is not the same anymore. It is transparent. It is more transparent than it's ever been. Land use issues are significantly different in Calaveras now than they've ever been before. We have a general plan that will be coming up next year. I have been to almost every community meeting in Calaveras regarding the general plan. And county government has a new blueprint. We are working with community groups like we've never worked with them before in the Ebbets Pass Corridor, District 3. We've worked with the Murphy's Business Association on changing the lights on Main Street. We have worked with the Greater Arnold Business Association on changing the lights in downtown Arnold, which hasn't been done yet. And recently the Murphy's Community Club put up a sign, and we never had a community sign ordinance. Well, now we have a community sign ordinance that impacts the whole county. In terms of land use patterns, we're going to focus development on what is sustainable, and we're going to build on our strengths. And that's where Calaveras is a lot different now than it was 4 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Government is an active process, and all of you in here are part of that process. And as far as the future is concerned, that's going to be up to you. We will navigate it together. I strongly know the impact of my decisions, whether it is on land use, budget, public safety, noise, solid waste. The supervisors can't wave a magic wand, and you need to count to 3. And I work well with the board, and I work well with the constituents in my district. I am committed to District 3, and I am committed to the residents of Calaveras County. And do we get closing remarks? I mean, we're all back here wanting to know, or should I do it now? I'll do it now. I want your vote June 3rd if you live in Corridor 4. Thank you. Mike Corian.
Good evening, my name is Mike Corian. I'm running for Calaveras County Supervisor, District 3. Thank you for the Realtors Association for hosting this event, and thank all of you for showing up tonight. Here in Calaveras County, we're in our own special recession. I'm pretty sure you're aware of that. We fell in the recession sooner than the nation did. We fell deeper than the nation did, and this is entirely unacceptable. The decisions, the past decisions of the Board of Supervisors played a significant role in our downfall, particularly when they created the Community Development Department about 7 years ago. That was really strangled the economy, put the permitting process in an absolute standstill, and put a lot of our economy in a tailspin. Our children They graduate from this high school right here and they leave and they're unable to come back. There are no jobs, no careers here. A few can get to stay, but most of our children, most of the graduates from here leave. If we had a good, strong business economy, our children would come back here in a heartbeat. A lot of them would. I was fortunate to return to this county and grow up here and raise my kids here, but my children will not have that opportunity and the career path we're having. We're sitting in my alma mater. I graduated from Red Hart High School in 1975. And then I went to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, where I earned a bachelor's degree in forest resources, and I graduated with honors, and I did it with 4 years flat. And I did it because I basically worked my tail off. I financed my own education. After college, I worked for American Forest Products over in Martell. It's now called Sierra Pacific Industries, and I was an industrial forester and managed the lands up here in the South Calaveras. The recession in '79 finished a lot of those jobs forever, and I was able to return to my roots, became a fireman in the city of San Mateo. And I've been down there since 1986, and in that career I rose from the ranks of firefighter to fire captain to my current position of battalion chief, which I held about 13 years. Not bad for a country boy. As a battalion chief, I worked with 3 different cities: San Mateo, Foster City, and Belmont, all departments, all cities, 3 different unions, 3 different city councils, 3 different city managers. I have developed a pretty serious skill set of negotiations, interest-based negotiations, team building, consensus building, and leadership. In my career, I've had the privilege to be the incident commander in several large, significant incidents. The limousine fire last year in San Mateo Bridge, you may have heard about that. Also, a kid brought a pipe bomb to high school, first day of school one day, and detonated it. Fortunately, nobody was hurt, but I've been in several very critical instances. As long as I'm also a strike team leader. I bring strike teams up and down the state, and sometimes we have wildland fires. I'm also a business owner. I opened a home design business here several years ago, closer to 20, I guess. And there's over 200 homes in Calaveras County that came off of my design board. I've also been involved in community since forever. I was a coach, youth coach. I coached youth wrestling. I coached the high school team here for a few years, and we actually were able to produce a section champion wrestling team. Also coached soccer, Little League. During the episode of the Community Development Department, I became the president of the Calaveras Builders Association. I was in front of the board on several occasions, and we were eventually able to convince the board to disband the Community Development Department, but unfortunately our timing was off and the damage has been to the economy. And
Mike, we're going to have to wrap it up.
Sorry about
Do
that.
your closing, that's okay.
Thank you. Calaveras County is my family home and always has been. I have a vision and a plan. I have the experience and education to see my vision through, but most of all, because it is my home, I am most determined to see my plan through. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next, Michael Oliveira.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Michael Oliveira. Thank you, Board of Realtors, for having us tonight, and thank you for taking time to listen to us. I'm running for the candidacy of District 3 Supervisor. I bring to this position experience, leadership, reason, and results. I'm retired from the Oakland Police Department, fellow retiree, Mr. Garahan. I spent 2 years in the law field in a firm in San Jose, California, dealing with high-profile personal injury as a staff investigator in case analysis. I'm a Marine Corps veteran, serving in the 60s and early 70s. My family actually moved up in Calaveras County in 2002 in the Blue Lake Springs area. I've successfully run some businesses that allowed me to have a home in the Blue Lake Springs area, termed a vacation home. I have a consulting firm I'm the president of, and I do technical advising for accidental reconstruction. In those capacities, I have gained the experience and the knowledge to deal with crisis situations, to handle union and trade problems and negotiations of contracts. And I've handled budgets equal or greater to the budget of Calaveras County. In 2007, I joined the Calaveras County Sheriff's Department. at the ripe old age of, I'm not going to tell you. I actually came on as an extra hire deputy, working the courts with the judge candidates and the judges here tonight, which I still do. I did work as a field reserve resident deputy in the Arnold and Murphy's area, District 3. I have my pulse. Now, that's about me. I'm not going to waste any more time telling you about me. I want to leave enough time for other candidates, and I want to get to the question and answer period. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mark. Okay, now we're on to Supervisor District 5, Darren Spellman.
I'd like to take the opportunity to thank Melinda and the Calaveras County Association of Realtors for making this forum possible tonight. As a former realtor myself and a current holder of a license to sell real estate in California, and yes, I do know the difference. Realtor license to operate does not make one a realtor. There is a distinction. As a realtor, I earned a national designation for high production numbers for 3 years running during the time that I practiced full time. 2 years I was in the top 7% nationwide, and 1 year I was in the top 5% nationwide for the Prudential firm. So I do know real estate. In fact, I used to sit in meetings like this in the Rose Avenue Masonic Lodge in Modesto and listen to politicians come and tell me what they were going to do to make Modesto a better community, which is where I resided at the time and practiced real estate primarily. What I can tell you is that all of you who are sitting in this room tonight that are realtors and have made it your profession for any given time know that budgeting and forecasting are absolutely the most key factor to you being successful long-term personally. And as a realtor, I had to make sure, you know, when my wife came to me after a couple of years of successful real estate and said, wow, we've got $20,000 in the bank account, I didn't know that. We should take a cruise. And I said, no, because, you know, I might not close another deal for a couple of months. Sometimes I close 3 deals in 1 month, 4 deals in a month. Sometimes you don't close any deals for 6 or 7 months. It just depends. You know, things come and go. You can't guarantee that. So you have to be prudent and have a plan in place and have reserves. As the current county supervisor, I know exactly what it takes. I know how we got in the position that we are financially, and I know how to get us out of it. I appreciate your vote on June 3rd. Thank you.
Marty Crane.
Good evening. Thank you so much for coming. This is an exciting event. My name is Marty Crane and I am running for District 5 Supervisor. And I just wanted to share with you that I arrived here in '92, and since I arrived, I've served on the Prevent Child Abuse Council, the Women's Crisis Center, worked with many others to start the youth center that we now know in Valley Springs. I'm very much involved with that. And also with others to start the Student Garden Program. In 2002, I took over the day-to-day operations of the Volunteer Center, went out looking for resources for our fragile populations, and one meeting led to another, and I ended up attending over 20 meetings a month since about '03. Very interesting across the board, and ultimately everything connects. It's informed my understanding of the county government. I've developed many wonderful working relationships at the county level, partnered with everybody that will partner, lots of agencies and departments. And I just wanted to say that when I retired from 20 years of escrow in Orange County, well, while I was there, I had a unique opportunity to listen to people and understand what their hopes and dreams were, why they were moving and where they were moving to and where they were moving from. And it always seemed to fall into the same category, quality of life. Quality of life tends to drive everything we do, including our property values. It's our good schools, access to health care, a well-considered, all-inclusive plan for the future, our parks and open spaces, a sense of security and safety, and now broadband is driving our future. I cannot tell you how important that is, but there is a mapping session that process that we've been working on to inform and update the maps, and I encourage you all to look into that. The Economic Development Company has been working on it for some time, so thank you very much.
Thank you. Roy Estockery.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. Thank you. You know, I've been in buildings and some of the largest forest fires in our state's history, and I am so nervous right now. I can't even begin to explain. But my name's Roy Stockery. I grew up in Rancho Calaveras. I've been there since I was 8 years old. I'm a husband and a father, my wife, and I have 3 young boys, and they're all under the age of 4. I work at Calaveras Consolidated Fire, formerly Jalen Fire. I've been there since 2003, and I currently hold the position of captain on A shift. EMS and fire is my trade. I'm good at it. I never anticipated going into politics, but I was motivated to do so because it's becoming very apparent that the world we live in is changing rapidly. Our county, state, and federal governments are failing, and we can't stand by and watch this happen. We are watching our children's future go up in smoke. A lot of our problems stem from the federal, state, and county oppressive policies. Bad trade deals like NAFTA and GATT have destroyed our economy. But Calaveras County is worse. And unfortunately, it has a lot to do with mismanagement by supervisors over the last 4 years and the last 20 years. And this is why I got involved. We need to get involved. The choices we make the next 4 years are going to affect us for decades. I'm up for the challenges. I am in a management role where I work and I make tough decisions every day. I'm up for the challenge of being your humble representative. I have no ambitions to seek any other offices, and I'm committed to serving District 5. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Stephen Kearney, last but not least, come on up.
They say sometimes coming in last is a bad thing, but when you do something like this, maybe it's not so bad, so I don't feel too put out by being the last person to talk. My name is Steve Kearney, and I'm running for supervisor in District 5, and I also want to thank the Board of Realtors for putting this on tonight. This is a great facility. I haven't been back in here since my son was playing on this stage, and if I would have told him when I was watching him that I was going to be up here, he probably wouldn't have believed me, so I finally get to know what it looks like looking out there. I've been in Calaveras County for many years, just like all of you have, and I was fortunate enough to get a job opportunity to come up here over 20 years ago. So I never looked back. I loved it, and I love being here, and I want to spend the rest of my life here. During these years, I participated in a great many activities. There's so many that I can't even name them. Everything from coaching Saturday afternoon basketball to helping build parks with private grants to being president of the Valley Springs Boosters. And I've always enjoyed being a part of the community, and I would like to continue being engaged in the community. Now, at this particular time in my life, I've got the time to be a full-time county supervisor and devote to the needs of the position as I can. And I'm looking forward to it, and I'm excited about it. I do have plans to improve the community, and I do have thoughts, and I'm going to be right up front with you. When people talk to me, a lot of times they are reflective of what's being told to me, and I look forward to hearing from people. But my thoughts What I hear consistently is we really need to work on our job creation in this county. We've got a tremendous amount of unemployment in our workforce, and we've got a good workforce, and somehow we need to coax them out and get them back in. And we've got to work on business creation. There's a lot of empty buildings. Let's fill those babies up and get people working. I also have got decades of experience working on financial plans. I was trying to add it up as I was standing over there. I wrote multi-million-dollar business plans 84 times and 22 annual plans for a lot of money. And I'm real proud to say that my very last one that I wrote on an $11 million cash flow, we put $1.40 million in the bank after we paid the bills. And I said goodbye to the company after that. I want to bring a sense of dignity and respect to the position. As the saying goes, I do play well with others. In my job, you had to be diplomatic to get along and get through the day. I love to listen to people. I don't know everything, but what I do know, and I am smart about, is taking in what I'm hearing. And I'm looking forward to doing that. I'll ask for this twice, even if we get to ask for it again when I close. I need your support, and thank you very much. Have a great evening. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you. I am now going to turn this microphone back over to Miles Gibbons. He is our moderator for the evening. Thank you to all the candidates.
I almost forgot why I was here. It's 7 o'clock right now, and I'd like everybody to take I want 10 to 15, I want you all back in your seats, you guys up here. At 7:15, have another bite to eat, another drink of water or something, and then we'll go into the questions.